unapologetic liberal talk. It's Tarabuster with Tara Devlin.
Is it? Is it Tara Devlin? I don't know. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. Last time you saw me, look at my hair. I need a haircut. Jesus Christ. All right, guys, thank you for hanging out. Last time you saw me at around 1 p.m., I was sitting in this chair and I haven't moved. So, my ass hurts. All right, listen. We meet here every Friday. What's today? I'm very, very out of sorts because I'm exhausted. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a moderator in the chat room. Who is texting me? What is going on here? Hold on. Somebody just texted me something. Interesting. Oh, okay. Nerd Halen. Hal is doing Nerd Halen. So we won't be rated tonight. And I'm sorry, I had trouble connecting the YouTube. That's why I don't know what's going on. There's some technical problems, as always. Okay, where do we begin? Thank you, Charlie, from APS Radio News. And I do hope that I hope there's nothing wrong with the stream. I'm just sharing because I had to give the stream another code. So I do hope that things aren't screwed up and we have two streams going at the same time, which has happened on YouTube, I should say. That's happened before. Anyway, because I'm wondering, there's some people in the chat room, but there's usually more people, and I'm wondering if I screwed up. That's all. But thank you for being here, and we will okay. We have a show every Tuesday, every Thursday, and Friday, 8:30 p.m. This is our hangout. This is our 2-hour hangout on Friday nights. So come on over to youtube.com/C for channel/Tarabuster. That's the chat I have my eye on the most. We're trying other things here. I'm trying to stream to Instagram. It's not working, so whatever. Okay, we'll try that again. And let's get to work here. So there's so many things going on, as we know. And it's almost, you almost don't know where to begin half the time. So let's just start with some MAGA regrets. How about that? I'm all about, as Joe Biden said during one of his State of the Unions, he said, I'm all for conversion. When Republicans pretended, remember how they all applauded? First they booed when he said that they wanted to cut Social Security, and then he said, hey, well, what do you mean? You don't want to do it? And they all applauded, and because they're, they have nothing to offer the American people but lies. Well, this is another story we're going to get to today about how Republicans are hurting people. But let's start with this. The caller that called into C-SPAN, I give him credit for seeing the light. Let's listen in.
We've had a few callers patiently waiting. Let's go to Thomas now, calling all the way in from Honolulu, Hawaii, on the Republican line. Good morning, Thomas. You're on with us.
Yes, sir. Good morning. A national thought and then a local one. It's hard for me to say this, but I think if I can open up about it in public, that it might help others. I wanted to believe Trump was the real deal for a long time.
Why? How?
Even though I had doubts because I knew enough about his business history to think otherwise.
He's this con artist.
But now I regret my support for him, and I should have known better. He's making it plain as day. He's a con man, a liar, doesn't keep his promises. He's in office all for himself, and he doesn't even try to hide his corruption anymore. So unless you get all your information from what I call the right-wing propaganda for profit, disinformation, media, industrial complex, he's the worst president we've ever had. And he's the most
demonstrably worse
we've ever had. I know it's hard. It took me a while to be able to say that. Very difficult when you commit yourself to believing in somebody. But
Thomas, if you don't mind me
Believing in
interjecting,
somebody.
did you vote for Trump all 3 times in 2016, 2020, 2024?
I'm sorry, I missed that. Say that again, please.
Did you vote for President Trump all 3 times that he's run?
Yes. I wanted to vote. I considered a third party.
Poor thing.
And I considered even a Democrat, but I did, in the end, vote for him. But
And what do you feel? That's really interesting. What do you feel, or what was the straw that broke the camel's back this time around? Was it the war? Is it something
I don't think
else?
it's one thing. It's been a cumulative process, and it's gotten so blatant now. And he's just literally the things he's going to lower prices on day one. He was going to do this on day one. Only he could fix all this stuff. And now I understand how somebody like Adolf Hitler was able to brainwash millions of people. I never thought I'd see that again in my lifetime,
Wow.
but it's happened, right? I thought we got past that, but we don't learn from history. But
No,
I
you
just
don't
hope,
learn.
the
Maggots
best
don't
we
learn.
got to slow him down, make him accountable any way we can. Right now, the only weapon is to vote for as many Democrats, whether you like them or not, to just get some balance back into our system of checks and balances, right? Congress is doing nothing to stop him. He has more power. He wants to be a king.
Yeah.
We're letting him get away with it. We fought a revolutionary war against England because we didn't want to be ruled by an arbitrary king like Trump wants to be. So, but I'll stop there for that. Leavingmaga.org for anybody who's interested. It gives you a community of people who used to be supporters but who also are having doubts now. So and being part of this community is a big part of the appeal, I think, right? So that's something others who might be having doubts could check into. Finally,
Yeah, leavingmaga.org. Let's check it out. Leavingmaga.org. If this doesn't show you, yet again, that this is a cult, I don't know what does. Shall I accept the cookies here? Let's see. Leaving MAGA. Let's hear what he has to say. Message from our founder.
Hi, everyone. This is Rich Logis, Executive Director of Leaving MAGA. I'm one of those who fell down the MAGA wormhole. For 6 years, I was very active. I had a regular radio gig, and I wrote op-eds for far-right outlets, hazing Democrats, owning the libs with the best of them. I even started my own MAGA podcast. I was all in. And yet here I am, talking with you today. Before I go any further, I would like to apologize for the harm I have caused our country. I am speaking out to make amends for my past deeds and rhetoric. My journey into and out of MAGA was circuitous. I drifted into its orbit as a fierce independent. From an early age, I mistrusted both political parties. I thought they didn't care about the people. In the 2000 presidential election, when I was 23, I voted for Ralph Nader. Over the years, that strong independent streak never faded. By the time Trump came along, I was primed to fall for a guy who promised to obliterate the established political order. The spark of my liberation actually was struck by my governor, Ron DeSantis. It was the summer of 2021. I was already harboring doubts about MAGA since I never believed the 2020 election was stolen, but for all intents and purposes, I was still very much on the team. COVID was ravaging the nation. By this point, the summer of 2021, roughly 650,000 Americans had died from the disease. I began to see news stories about a surge in COVID deaths in Florida from the Delta variant. Children's hospitals were getting overcrowded, and some kids were dying. I was getting freaked out. My older girl was 5, and my youngest was just 2. I couldn't get the images out of my mind, the desperate parents in intensive care units, in morgues. For months, Governor DeSantis had treated the pandemic properly, that is, as a grave threat to public health. Then one day, out of the blue, he did a 180. He platformed anti-vax cranks and crackpot COVID conspiracists. The vaccine will change your RNA. It has a better chance of killing or harming you than COVID. That sort of drivel. The next day, a reporter asked him about the kooks. DeSantis said he couldn't remember what the speakers had said. The day before, at his press conference, I was furious that he was taking me for an idiot, and that drove me to take a fateful step. I left the MAGA echo chamber. I picked up papers I hadn't read since before MAGA. They were part of what I had dubbed on my podcast and in my articles the Democrat media industrial complex, the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Atlantic. So I was once again consuming actual journalism. Then I learned that some of DeSantis' staffers were spreading conspiracy theories about a biomedical security state run by who else? The Jews. The whole sickening experience drove me to take another
Never
fateful
stops,
step.
right?
I went back and learned everything that had happened in the run-up to and on the day of January 6th. At the time of the attack, I took my position that the Democrats and national media were blowing what happened way out of proportion. I stopped paying attention
Hold
to
on a
coverage of it.
second.
I had also
Be
told
right
myself
back.
that the extremists, the Proud Boys, the Oath Keepers, the Three Percenters were just hangers-on, political dilettantes who were there for the excitement rather than the politics.
Interesting.
But I soon came to learn that these groups were far from irrelevant. In fact, they were Trump's allies, which meant they were my allies. I was complicit. I felt rage, confusion, shock, and most acutely
some credit,
shame.
really.
I was inextricably linked to the domestic terrorists I had once yawned at.
Thank you, domestic terrorists.
And yet, it took me another year to truly walk away from MAGA. I call it my year of heaven and hell. I came to realize that ever
It's like
since I joined
getting
MAGA,
out of Scientology.
I had never really taken a break from the trauma, the desperation, and the panic that were part and parcel of being a dedicated MAGA American.
MAGA
But
American.
I was wholly invested in MAGA. It was my family, my purpose. My identity and social status depended on it. It was excruciating to even consider cutting myself off from what had become my community. My internal tug of war was intense. My conscience and profound doubts battled with the fear of losing my community. I spent a lot of sleepless nights fighting with myself. Finally, in July 2022, I quietly left MAGA. I almost immediately felt that my private act, however, was insufficient. I published my mea culpa a month later at Occupy Democrats.
Uh-oh.
Eventually, I felt that going public with my story was like spitting into a storm, and I had to do more. So I founded Leaving MAGA. Our mission is to empower people to leave MAGA and tell their stories, and to help people with friends and family in the movement figure out ways to break through and reconnect with their loved ones. We are a safe, non-judgmental community. We know there are lots of MAGA Americans who are having doubts. Spreading the word far and wide about others who have left can help give them the courage to take the leap. We've gotten some attention from national media, and I was honored to address last summer's Democratic National Convention to endorse Kamala Harris. We all know that a lot of young men have fallen under Trump's thrall. If anyone's going to get through to them, it's going to be their peers. Let's figure out ways we can collaborate. Leaving MAGA's fight is your fight.
Oh boy. Oh brother. See, no, it's like leaving Scientology. It really is. And this is why it's going to be hard to break these people out of the cult, because they get their identity from it. And I know it's shocking. It's shocking to me because the con man had a rally tonight, and I was in shock. I'm always in shock to think that there's anyone who, there's any people to fill the seats in whatever venue the con man shows up in. Here, let's play some of it. Hold on. Where's my... Put this on here. It's in my Premiere. Hold on. Shit. It's not working. Come on, man. I told you it's going to be a tech night tonight. Let's see. Will it work? Oh, come on, man. Here we go. Premiere. Oh shit, it's all over here. I like to play these clips through my Adobe Premiere because it gives you a transcript. Sometimes, and you could just pop right to the section you're trying to find. So, I'm not going to play the whole speech, of course. It's another event. But let's see, actually, because the con man, he's got nothing for the American people but hate and division. And just out of curiosity, I want to see how many times he mentioned trans people. Because they have nothing. What are they going to run on? The illegal war? He's lying to these people, telling them, oh, we had to make a pit stop in Iran. We couldn't have them have a nuclear weapon. Well, they didn't have a nuclear weapon. They weren't going to get one until you came along and decided to start this illegal war of distraction, to distract from the fact that you're all over the Epstein files committing crimes against children. The Strait of Hormuz was open. It had never been closed under any other president. So you did that, Trader Trump, because you are the worst president, as the former MAGA said. The worst president in American history, and he will go down as such. He's already ranked the worst president in American history from the first maladministration, because of the insurrection, because of the million dead, the way he handled COVID, the mismanagement, the maladministration. And this time, the grifting is, I don't know what he's doing, why he's grifting. He's 80 years old, right? He's 80. So I don't understand if he's because it seems like he's grifting as fast as he can grift. It's like Supermarket Sweep. Have you ever watched that show? Where you just have to throw all we're talking years ago. I used to watch that show with my aunt when I was younger, and we would laugh. You had to run around the supermarket and put everything in your cart while monsters chased you. Not you, but the contestants. And, what is this? It's like smash and grab sweep. But who are you running from? You can't outrun the Grim Reaper, Trader Trump. He's coming for you. So what are you running? Why are you grifting as fast as you can grift? For what reason? We understand psychologically. I get it. He is building a ballroom. He's building an arch, or what they call arc, because they are ignorant. And they're reading it, and they don't know how, they don't know what they're saying. So they just read in the arc. So he wants to build other monuments to himself. He wants his name on everything and whatnot. That supposedly makes up for the manifest unfitness. And he's doing that because he knows we're all going to die, right? We're all going to die, some sooner than others. Some statistically, legally and peacefully. That's all I'm saying, legally and peacefully. And so I would imagine if I could get out my Psych 101, dust off my Psych 101 textbooks, that's why he wants the monuments to himself. He thinks he's like Augustus Caesar. I found a city of clay and left it marble. Unfortunately, when it comes to Trader Trump, he found a perfectly decent, at least struggling to be functioning Democratic Republic that worked for all, and left it a shithole autocracy, kleptocracy, kakistocracy, oligarchy, a divided cesspool of hate and suffering. Stop me when I'm wrong. Can anybody prove me wrong at this point? I wish I was wrong. But so all they have are attacks against trans people. If you hear what when they're attacking James Tallarico in Texas, it's six genders. Mr. Six Genders, they call him, because somebody said cisgenders. That's how, you can bet your bottom dollar that's how that came up. Cisgenders, somebody said. And the dum-dums don't know, they're ignorant, so it became six genders to the baboon. right? So it became, cisgenders became six genders to the baboon, and no one has this spine to tell this baboon or to explain to him what cisgender means. He will never learn anyway. Right? So it's his world in Maggotville, and we all live in it. But so I understand why he wants his name on everything, because Father Time is coming for us all. But what are you doing with the smash and grab? How much more money do you need, old man? You're 80. You're disgusting. But it's not that 80 is disgusting. I'm just saying he's disgusting. You know, unfortunate word compilation there, but he's disgusting. Not that he's 80, but he's sick. He's just got a sickness, and that has to be called out. Yesterday, when I was watching the corporate media, actually, they were talking about how Elon Musk is going to be a trillionaire soon, and so I guess that's a foregone conclusion. We can't do anything about it. The rest of us humans on Earth just have to accept that an unfit ketamine addict is going to be a trillionaire and have all the power to destroy us, I suppose. I don't understand how we allow this to continue. The corruption, the complete assault on humanity that we're witnessing. There are more of us than there are of them, so I don't know how much longer we got to take it. But yeah, so they go after James Tarabuster. They call him, he's a hit on Jesus, six genders, he doesn't eat meat. This is what they're saying. Oh, Texas doesn't like vegans. Anything to divide people along every stupid fissure of disunity. Henry Wallace, that letter that Henry Wallace wrote, well, not the letter, the op-ed that Vice President Henry Wallace wrote in the New York Times in the 1940s about the dangers of American fascism should be taught in every classroom in this country. Maybe we'll read it, actually, now that I'm bringing it up. But, so let's see. I just want to see what a couple of times, let me search this transcript here and see. Trans. See what he says.
In women's sports, and no transgender surgery for our children.
Okay.
We'll be very generous in that regard, but we have to stop it. There's no country in the world that has mail-in ballots like we do. No country in the world.
Oh.
You know why? Because it's inherently corrupt.
Bullshit. The lies. It never stops. And then he goes into...
And we will also enshrine in permanent law no men in women's sports and no transgender surgery for our children.
What are you applauding for? The cult, right? No transgender, no women, no men in women's sports. How does that butter your bread? Suckers are born every minute. Trumpanzees are living proof. Right? They really are. No transgender surgery for our children. Guess what, maggots? Good news. Children don't get gender-confirming surgery. Okay? Children don't get surgery. Regardless, what the con man says. Do your own research. Why doesn't the do your own research crowd ever do their own research? unless they want to have a fit somewhere, unless they're having a meltdown in an airport during COVID-19. You know, we always have to deal with these people having meltdowns about fiction, complete and utter fiction. Don't they ever get tired of being suckers? Just like the guy said, the C-SPAN caller. Good for him. But I think he's an outlier. He is a rare case. If you're in this cult, you're entrenched in it. It takes a strong personality to break out, because you're going against all your friends. This is your social group. These are the people you hang out with, you talk with. You all think that the baboon is the bee's knees, right? And it is a cult. It shares all the characteristics of a cult. So it's not that it shares the characteristics. It's a cult. Okay, let's see what else. The trans. He talks about trans. There's numerous trans in here.
But to think that we actually, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, could you imagine saying, we will not allow men to play in women's sports? Could you imagine saying that transition? Can you imagine saying, we will not allow the mutilization of your children? If you said that, they'd say, what's wrong with that person? Why are they talking that way? Today you have to say it, because they do allow in certain places.
Oh, God, blood clot. Let's go, blood clot. Where's that blood clot when we need it? See, it's all lies, all division, all lies. They might as well be taking a page right out of the Nazi playbook. Nazis went after trans people, too. That was the first target.
With the words,
oh, for fuck's sake. Here we go.
Mother's screaming, come on, darling, I love you so much, Mama.
Oh my God. Who thinks this is funny? I'm just going back a little because I want to see what the hell he's talking
He
about.
loved his daughter, but he wasn't sure. And she bent over and she lifted that sucker and she pulled it up and she was getting close. And she could barely, and the mother was screaming, come on, darling, you can do it. 17 years it stood. Come on, darling, you can do it.
What the
And she got it up to here, Jackson. She was almost, come on, darling, the mother and the father was almost bored because you know she's not going to do it. And the mother's screaming, come on, darling, I love you so much. Mom, I love you. I love you. And she couldn't do it. Boom. It dropped. And then in steps this young transition person. You know, I've gotten very good with the words. It took me a long time. I used to get criticized.
Oh,
He was
you
a
horrible
transition
monster.
person. And he
A
stepped
transition person. Shut your filthy fascist mouth, right?
up, transgender surgery.
Oh, forget it. You know, it's enough. I'm sorry, because it's abuse. It's abuse to a targeted minority group that is their scapegoat du jour. Who's going to be next when we get to the point where humanity evolves and they don't get the same bang for their buck going after trans people? That day will come. It may not come in our lifetime at this point, but I hope it will. But I really do. Humanity has surprised me before. But it is coming. And those in the future who look back at this time will be absolutely disgusted and appalled. Just like when we look back at, well, most of us, when we look back at 75, 80 years ago to the Third Reich and their dehumanization of their targeted minority groups, including trans people. We look at that and we are disgusted and sickened. But that's the way the future will look back on this, on all of these people in here. They will be eternally shamed. Just when we look at the old pictures of the Third Reich, all of the Nuremberg rallies, or the bystanders as Hitler drove by in the open-top car and the girls cried and threw flowers and everyone applauded, right? And we look at them, we say, shame on them. Look at these disgusting people. And in the way we view ourselves, right? We hope we would never be like that during this time. But like the guy said who called into C-SPAN, he said, now I know how Hitler came to power. Me too. Now I know what it was like. It must have been like for them, except, of course, it was absolutely more terrifying. We're not at the point, I guess, do we have, people are being disappeared. That is true. If you're in the targeted minority group, immigrants, right? Trans people are completely underground and being hunted by this group of maggots because they know better. Most people, not them, not maggots, but, science. We all know that some people are trans. That's just the way it is. And if you're a human, and thankfully science and medicine evolved so we can help people. We can help them live authentic lives. There's options, there are remedies for gender dysphoria, and it's a thing. So it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. It's just there's something that, like my eyes, like I have to take medicine for blood pressure. We have medical issues that thankfully science can address. It's the same thing. And if you are a compassionate, normal person, you want to help people live their authentic lives. And I see the thing with maggots, it doesn't even make sense to me because, they're like, it's a mental illness. What does it matter? What do you fucking care? Leave people alone. It's a mental illness. Your pee-pee has to match your brain. That's a mental illness. You're the ones with the mental illness, maggots. The obsession of what's in everybody else's pants, or is the pee-pee dressed properly, or according to you? Is it in the right clothes? Is it in the right bathroom, according to you? You don't have any business, in anybody else's business. So bugger off. But they can't do it. The obsession with the pee-pee, which is why we can throw a rock at this Nuremberg rally, I'm sure, and find a closet case, a trans closet case, a child molester, all kinds of sicknesses that stem from repression, disease. And it's like, this is why we turn around all the time. Another maggot just got caught in the act of being himself and sentenced to life in prison for C-SPAN. CSAM. Child sexual assault material. C-SPAN. We're not there yet. We're not being sentenced to life in prison for viewing C-SPAN, or maybe one day. Not viewing, but maybe one day. Like they went after Stephen Colbert, and Trader Trump has absolutely no decency. Oh, Stephen Colbert, low ratings, the worst. Where's all the freedom of speech, maggots? That's what struck me. I don't hear a single Fox News fascist or any of these Russian-funded maggot influencers who were all about free speech absolutism. I don't hear any of them coming to Stephen Colbert's defense, saying this isn't right. You can't drive comedians off the air. If they come for one, they can come for all. Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you imagine a free speech absolutist would do something like that, would stand up for freedom of speech. But no. You see? This is how it happened in Nazi Germany. Because there are certain segments of the population that are authoritarian followers, and here we are. Okay. Oh, shit. You know what? Were we... Hold on a second. Oh, fuck. Okay, good. For a second there, I thought that you weren't seeing the video I was seeing. But Trump has always been a dirtbag. Don't take my word for it. I want to play some of this video. There's going to be a lot of videos tonight, just because I'm tired. And I don't know. There's I have things on the board here we can talk about. Many things. What do I have on my list? Let me see. Where's my notes? We got, okay, we could do this. Here's another one. MAGA effing around and finding out. That's interesting. Turn that off, turn this on. Well, let me see who else is in here, actually. They left MAGA. Are you sure? I just saw another video the other day of a maggot, who was on a plane. And you ever notice, who was that guy that used to say that from CBS? Ever notice? Ever notice how maggots are horrible people? That don't know how to behave? And the video I was watching was this guy was getting off a plane and something happened, and he started yelling at the other passengers and saying the N-word, and this is where they go immediately. So, you know, there's something like dangerously wrong with them. And at the end, so people started videoing him, of course, so they could post it online. And he started screaming at them, "Trump is your president!" You see, to a maggot, that is some kind of attack. Why would you say that? If voting for Trump is because you love your country and want to make a more perfect union, voting for Trump for these people is them beating the rest of humanity over the head with a cudgel, because they hate humanity, they hate the country, they hate everyone else, and they hate themselves too. They hate others who are different, and they're always so, the other thing is they're always so victimized too. They're always so angry and put upon. But that's what's sad is that they only see the light when something affects them directly, right? Like this guy. Let me see if this will play. No, that's an ad. Skip this ad.
24 that if he was reelected, gas would be under $2 a gallon because of his policies.
Well, gas prices were coming down until we had to deal with this situation. But, you know, that's life. That's dealing with
life, bud.
The world we live in.
Could you imagine?
I think the country gets the fundamental fact.
Could you imagine if any Democrat said that's life in regard to high gas prices? What the Fox News fascists would go on about. I mean, we would never hear the end of it. We're still never hearing the end of, what did Hillary Clinton say when she was testifying? She said, "What difference does it make?" And they still have that on a loop on the Fox News fascist propaganda channel, right? And she was just exacerbated exasperated, excuse me, by the questioning, by the stupidity. They're constantly hammering her about bullshit. What difference does it make? And now, could you imagine?
Well, gas prices were coming down until we had to deal with this situation. But you know,
You didn't have.
that's life. That's dealing with.
That's
with
life.
world and,
That's life. We didn't have to deal with any situation. Trader Trump made it up. Just like we didn't have to deal with his ballroom or anything else, or his horrible personality that's like a rake on a chalkboard. With his fucking stupid mimicking of lifting weight. I love you, mommy. I love you, daddy. What do you know about love? This is a piece of dirt who's not even going to his own son's wedding. God, the sociopathy is unbearable. So tell me again, maggots, how Christian you are, how much you care, how patriotic you are.
the world we live in, I think the country gets the fundamental fact, and I know I understand this, President Trump makes decisions that are in the best interest of our nation.
But if someone's listening to you and they were paying $2.98 a gallon of gas before the war started, now
You
they're
fucking
paying
dumbass.
$4.53. I mean, saying that's life might not, make them feel better when they're filling up
Those
their
are your
car.
words. Those are your words, not mine. I'm saying.
I'm not. I'm gonna.
This is the situation. This.
Oh my God. What is happening? Yeah, those are your words. You just said them, bud. Well, hey, that's life. Hey, I didn't say that's life. You said them. They've all learned at the knee of this con man. I didn't say that. You said that. Well, as the headline says, hold on a second. Alaska senator who backed Trader Trump's Iran war is now begging for money to help pay for his gas. Isn't this the maggot way, though, right? They vote for their own demise, and we all have to swoop in and save them from themselves. But they will never have the decency, the manners, the maturity, the graciousness to say thank you. Thank you, Democrats. Thank you, normal people. Thank you, America. Being a dumbass voting for their own demise is the American birthright now. And if anybody else needs help, oh, forget that. There's never enough. We don't have enough. Pull yourselves up. Bootstrap it, baby. So this is peak leopards eating my face here all the time. I mean, the leopards are having a feast, and it will only get worse. Trust me. So Dan Sullivan, he's been one of Trump's loudest boosters of the Iran war. Actually, I want to get a better headline than that one. Let me see if I can find one. Because I don't want to look at Jim Jordan, jacket off Jim. Where is it? Let's see. Alaska Senator Dan Sullivan. All beating the war drum here. Let's see. Gas prices. If I can find a good one to put up there. Let's see, maybe this one is better. Oh no, it's the same one. Here's from the DSCC. Put that up. Okie dokie. Boom. Move this, do that. Okay. So Dan Typical maggot. He has been one of Trump's loudest boosters on the war, on the illegal and unconstitutional and unpopular war of distraction from the fact that Trump is all over the Epstein files, committing crimes against children. And he has reliably voted for the war budget, for sanctions, and the entire macho bullshit maximum pressure campaign that they supposedly have, maximum pressure, that helped destabilize global oil prices. So he did his best. He did his part, creating the chaos. Now, his campaign email subject line is, Alaska needs you. Meaning, I helped drive up energy prices, and now please pay for my gas so I can keep my job. His fundraising pitch explicitly says that donations are needed for, quote, fuel costs as he travels around his state so he can campaign convincing dumbasses to vote Republican. So in his state, in Alaska, gas is over $5 a gallon. So he needs your money. You see, he needs gas money so he can go around and knock on doors. Well, at least he's knocking on doors, right? I always say that maggots should do that. Build your coalition. Knock on doors. Convince people. But don't lie to people. Don't tell them you want everybody to have health care, everyone to have bigger paychecks, everyone to have health care, everyone to have a great middle-class life. Don't, what did Trader Trump tell when he was campaigning? He would go and pretend that he was all for unions and working people, and he told people, oh, buy a house here, don't move, jobs are going to be coming out of your wazoo. And then, of course, as soon as he was elected, the factory closed and these people lost their jobs. He was like, oh, take out a second mortgage, take out a third, fuck it, you're good, you're good, bro, trust me, bro. Don't believe what those dumbocrats, what the dumbocrat party says. Believe the con man. Believe the guy with the multi-level marketing vitamin scam and the felonies. Unreal. But yeah, so he's going around and he's pitching for, his emails, his fundraising emails are pulling at the heartstrings, really, to get Republicans, Alaskans, to fund his road trip. Meanwhile, ordinary Alaskans are getting hammered by those same prices. Who's going to give them relief? Republicans, Dan Sullivan, who's going to help them? Your constituents. You see, that's how it works, though, with Republicans in office. You're there, as the constituent, you're there to service the representative, not the other way around. The representative is there to live high on the hog, to have great health care, pension. You know, they have a pension, don't worry about it. Social Security, yeah, they get Social Security, of course, because it belongs to everyone. But they get a pension, too. They get pension, health care, right? They get a great, they write themselves a very good social safety net for doing absolutely nothing except whatever the rich want them to do. Make the rich richer. I mean, think about the balls it takes to vote for the war, the illegal and unconstitutional war, to drive prices up needlessly. And thankfully, the American people are not stupid enough to buy the bullshit that Iran was on the verge of getting a nuclear weapon. They were not. And we all knew that. In fact, the Ayatollah that they murdered to replace with the younger Ayatollah The older one had a fatwa against developing nuclear weapons. But the younger one, I'm not sure if he has the same directive, but I would imagine not, given the crisis, given the fact that the United States and Israel are threatening. They killed his whole family, and that doesn't generally make you amenable to your adversaries at all. All it does is entrench you and radicalize the regime. And it also bombing and attacking the power structure. What it does is make the Iranian people rally around the regime that we were trying to get rid of. And these people have no ideas, these Republicans. You remember when? So now we're going to go to war with Cuba, right? Or right? That's on the list. It's on the queue. And remember when Obama started to try to normalize relations with Cuba, and the maggots lost their minds? And because they don't know, they never met a bad idea that they didn't want to continuously hammer home and do again and again and again. That's all they have are bad ideas. And Obama said, the sanctions aren't working. It's not working. So let's try a different route. The Castro regime we're talking about a guy in his 90s now. So the best thing we can do if we want to normalize relations, if we want to have some kind of relationship and help the people of Cuba and all, then the best thing we can do is open up diplomatic conversations, at least. That's how you win. That's how things change. You have exchanges of art and culture. And because people are people, no matter where. And what did the maggots do? As soon as they got power, they went back to the old ways, the old bullshit. And now, how many people are going to die for Cuba? Right? How many Americans got to die because Traitor Trump he's bored with Iran. He's bored. It was supposed to be a couple of mean tweets. We're going to take care of it. Hold on. But this is who they are. They suck at everything that they touch. They're not in it for promoting the general welfare. They're not trying to think critically. They're not thinking critically. Trump is playing 5D chess. He's not even playing checkers. He's bored with checkers. He's knocking the checkers off the board and flipping it. And he's like, oh, give me one of those Epstein girls for a minute. That's all he needs is a minute. So, could you imagine? This is the lack of shame for Dan Sullivan, the lack of any kind of introspection or sense of responsibility to vote for the war, to do everything you can to make things horrible, to make prices go up, and then turn around and beg your constituents, to tell your constituents, oh, you need their money for gas so you could spread these horrible ideas to someone maybe who mercifully hadn't heard them. They might be living their lives cut off from the grid. And here comes Dan Sullivan with his horrible Republican ideas to ruin their day, to ruin their existence. And because this is what Republicans do. Privatize the profits, socialize the pain, That's the Republican way, right? And then pass the hat. Pass the hat when their own policies boomerang back on them. This is who they are, you know. You back Trump's Iran debacle, you cheer the geopolitical chaos, and then you attack diplomacy, you attack renewables. Hey, you wouldn't even have to beg for gas prices, for money for gas, if you were driving an electric vehicle, like the rest of the world is moving on to. The rest of the world, you realize this? The whole world, one of the consequences, one of the happy accidents of Trader Trump's illegal and unconstitutional war of choice and distraction is the world demand for renewables has blown up, and people are buying electric vehicles. They want electric vehicles all over the world. Good. They're better. Electric vehicles are better. They don't, pollute. And they're cleaner, they're cooler, they run better. I have one. I have a hybrid, I should say. But I would never buy a gas guzzler again. Why would I? The whole world is moving on. The only thing that sucks is the infrastructure at this point. And the only reason I can have an electric vehicle is because I have a parking lot in my building that has electric vehicle chargers. But you can't find them. It's hard to find because of Trader Trump and the Republicans. We were supposed to have the infrastructure, the electric grid infrastructure was supposed to be built. But the Republicans rolled all that shit back. Thank you, all the morons who voted for this. And the 6 million Democrats who stayed home. Could you imagine the jobs that could have been created? Building that green infrastructure from sea to shining sea. What a point of pride we could have celebrated. Instead, what do we get? We get a baboon shoving oil down our throats, dragging us back to the 19th century. And we get this, like some dumb, horrible sociopath, a malignancy in the body politic, like a zit. Not even, like a cancer. I mean, but this is the same crowd, just to get back to Dan Sullivan for a second, it's the same crowd that screams personal responsibility, right? All the time. Personal responsibility, but now it's your responsibility. Give me money to fuel the campaign for after he lit the foreign policy dumpster on fire. Leopards, meat face. So, yeah. Meanwhile, if you're a working class Alaskan who can't afford to get to your job because of Republican policies, then what do they tell you? Suck it up. That's life. Jim Jordan said it. That's life. And then in the same sentence denied it. Well, I didn't say that's life. That's life. That's why we're all cuckoo now. Wait. He says, that's life. Suck it up, buttercup. Wait, I didn't say that. Amazing. What a time. What a time. You know, I'm sure throughout history people said, what a time to be alive. It must have been nice a time to be alive when the rich were paying a 90% top marginal tax rate. What a time to be alive. To go from the first Republican Great Depression to the Great Prosperity, thanks to FDR's New Deal policies. That must have been nice, just to watch the justice, finally, and to see you know, to see the American century get built thanks to these policies. And we could have another American century, or at least we could try to keep up with the Chinese. But not with the Republicans in control. So, and that's the other thing, in the C-SPAN video, when the guy was like, vote for Democrat, the way he was reluctantly saying, well, you know, we got to get as many Democrats in there, like it or not. I get it. Like it or not. I'm tired of the Democrats. I'm tired of the old guard Democrats. They need to go. We need people in there who understand what we're up against and aren't afraid to fight for it. Like we were talking the other day about, where's Tara Jr.? Oh. You know, the Tina Peters. I'm not going to go through it again. It was in the last show. But Governor Jared Polis commuting Tina Peters' sentence. How dare you? How absolutely disgustingly dare you? That's somebody that doesn't understand the assignment, Jared Polis. And for Democrats, there are Democrats who vote for Trump's judicial nominees. Why? What are you doing? You have one job, Dems, and that is slow this shit down. Throw sand in the gear of fascism. That's your job. Not, and it's not, you know, I was going to say, not, these guys, these judicial nominees are semi-normal. No, they're not. And even if they were, they're Trump's nominees. But they're not normal. The people that Democrats, some Democrats, voted for, let me get their names. Dems vote for, and it was, one was Sheldon Whitehouse, believe it or not. Trump judges. But the Trump judges were they what the hell? They wouldn't say that that Joe Biden won the election. You know, they did that whole song and dance. I think, wait, hold on, Sheldon Whitehouse. Where is it? Voted. Did he vote yet? Wait, hold on. Sheldon, maybe I don't want to smear his name if I'm incorrect. Sheldon Whitehouse. 3 Dems voted for Trump judges. Let's see. No, he didn't. I don't know. It's giving me conflicting. Small group of Democratic aligned senators who've been crossing over to confirm Trump's second-term judges. John Fetterman, of course, Maggie Hassan, and Angus King. But there were others. I gotta look this up. Maybe somebody. This is why I need a producer. Okay, you know. Please become a patron. Patreon.com/Tara Devlin. One was Dick Durbin. I remember Dick Durbin. See, I'm asking the AI because you can have a conversation with it. It's easier to tell it to find these people, but sometimes it's not correct. So you got to check. Was one of them? Let me see. Oh yeah, Dick Durbin is one. He's one of the worst offenders, of course. He's been confirming Trump's second-term judges left and right. He's one that needs to go. It's really disappointing that, we know what to expect from the Republicans, but when the Democrats can't stay in line, then, I mean, what hope do we have at this point? Oh, and thank you, JD Christie, for your super chat, your babonus. Tara Jr., go lay down. God damn it, man. He keeps, tapping my leg. I love him, but, go away, man. I'm doing a show. And he wants to jump up here and start biting my hands. And people are like, no, get down, go lay down. Go lay down. All right. I don't want people to be, whatever, who cares? I told you somebody wrote me and they were like, I'm going to have to cancel my patronage because Kat keeps interrupting. Could you fucking imagine? I mean, what do you fuck you want from me, man? And so now I always kind of try to take the feedback. I don't mind feedback. You got to put yourself in the shoes of the people listening to the show. So, but what do you want me to do? This is my apartment here. Get me a million patrons and we'll do it in a studio. Right? That'll be nice. I'll get a fucking haircut. I won't look like shit all the time. No, not that. I mean, don't say that. I'm sorry. That was very negative karma. And I don't mean to do that. That's abuse. That's self-abuse, and not in the good way. That's not good. I don't like doing that. It's not good. It's bad for your mental health to, disparage yourself like that. So, forgive me for doing that. It's a bad precedent, too. It's a bad example. So, okay. Let me see. Because speaking of fake Dems, I'm trying to find this thing about Fetterman and the texts that came out. Hold on. I told you it's going to be one of those nights. Because I'm tired. I'm very tired. I'm just sharing. I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm telling you. I have to share and care, because otherwise, you'll be like, what's wrong with her? So, here we go. Fetterman. What did we do to deserve him? And earlier today, when we had the Anti-Fascist Book Club with Nick Parrow, Banner and Backbone, someone on the text, we were talking, Fetterman came up in the conversation, and one of the commenters or the viewers said, well, at least he votes with the Dems 93% of the time. He does vote with Dems 93% of the time, but the fact is he doesn't vote when it counts. That's the problem with Fetterman. He does damage. He does more damage. Anybody can vote for the simple stuff. Vote for a post office. Vote to rename a road, but when it comes to the war, or it comes to Gaza, or any other thing that actually matters, Fetterman is on the wrong side, and he gives the Republicans, he gives them more talking points. See, he gives them the legitimacy to say, oh, this is a bipartisan bill. And then on top of that, he also repeats MAGA talking points about Trump derangement syndrome, which is bullshit. Trump, what are you talking about? And then he says, oh, if he wanted spring days and sunshine, I don't know how he put it, I don't remember, the Democrats would be against it, which is absolute bullshit. As I was just pointing out, there are Dems that are voting with Traitor Trump. And I wouldn't tell Dems not to vote for Traitor Trump across the board if Traitor Trump had productive and decent ideas and policy positions. I would be all for it. Say, yeah, vote for that shit. If he was for universal health care, vote for it. Do it. If he was for helping people, instead, everything is about destroying and lining his own pockets. So what are you talking about? If Traitor Trump was for ice cream sundaes and lazy days off, Dems would be against it? Give us an example where the Republicans are pushing policies of lazy Sundays and ice cream for breakfast, or whatever the hell he was saying. Give us the example. There's no follow-up. They never have an example. Of course not. It's like I always say, because it's like a Rorschach test. They want you to project your anything. Oh, your greatest fears on it. Oh yeah, see? If Trump was for Sundays, Trump is not for Sundays. He's not for lazy Sundays or a Sunday off. He wants your ass to work every fucking day, like the lady who drives DoorDash. He wants DoorDash Granny. You think she gets lazy Sundays? Show me a policy, a Republican policy, that gives DoorDash Granny a better life, and I'll be all for it. Oh, it's destroying government services? Is it destroying Obamacare so she can't get health care, kicking people off health care? Is it rolling back the federal protections for overtime and all the and unions? I mean, we can go on. Show me where any Republican policy improves the lives of working people, kicking them off their, firing them. How about that? Giving more money to the rich, firing. Oh, no taxes on tips? Is that it? Bullshit. No taxes on tips. Get the fuck out of here. Like that's a real win. What are we gonna do first? Give me a break. So let's see. Fetterman, leaked texts by John Fetterman reveal why many of the Pennsylvania senator's staffers are reportedly worried that he's increasingly behaving like a Republican. Please. Remember how everyone, when he first was in Congress, all the maggots were like mocking him for his stupid attire? Now they love it. Now they love that. I never really liked it. I always was like tolerated it. But I've mentioned it before. I was like, put some fucking clothes on. You're in the Senate, for Christ's sakes. It's so disrespectful. But I'm not, I mean, look at me. But I'm on a podcast. But if I went to the Senate, you think I'd look like this? You respect it. You show some respect. You put on a nice suit. Put on a nice business casual, if at all, right? You don't put a fucking hoodie and shorts, and he walks around like this slumpy old schlump. Jesus Christ! You're in the Senate, you disgrace. Show us it matters. Oh, but, it's so funny. Quiet, piggy. Ha, 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 ha. Isn't that funny? I'm still waiting for the lazy Sunday policy that Democrats are against. Anybody got one? Can anybody point to a Republican lazy Sunday policy that John Fetterman insists that Democrats are against because of some psychological Trump derangement syndrome? We hate him so much, we vote against Sundays, lazy Sundays. But what's the policy? Back that up. Show me where is a policy? Where have Democrats, or where's the policy that's will guarantee our great lazy Sunday? I want to vote. I want to encourage my representative to vote for it if it's there. You see what I'm saying? But they don't have it. It's bullshit. They have nothing to back it up except Bill Maher can just sit there and fucking laugh. And they go, ho, 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 with their cushy, phony, baloney jobs and their money. God. So messages obtained by New York Magazine show the Democrat, supposedly named John Fetterman, mocking free health care, dismissing the Epstein files as a nothing burger. You need to go away, John Fetterman. He needs to go. He needs to be primaried. He needs to be fucking out of Congress. He calls, yes, Epstein files a nothing burger, and Democrats hypocritical for their outrage at the killing of nurse Alex Preddy in Minneapolis. Fetterman has been a thorn in his party's side on a host of issues. This is from the Daily Beast. I'm reading William Valancourt. In January, according to the report, Fetterman sent staffers an article about how annual health care costs for a typical working family are nearly $4,000. How should it cost? Free? He wrote. I don't understand what affordability it is. What? How should it cost? Free? I don't understand what affordability it is. What affordability it is. So what is he saying? What should it be? What do you expect? Free? Yeah, bitch, we do. We expect, well, not technically, because we would pay taxes, and our taxes, instead of going to bombing Iran illegally and unconstitutionally, and instead of going to a slush fund reparations for insurrectionists or Elon Musk's pockets or wherever, to blow up rockets or, pick it, or to give Jeff Bezos a free ride off our backs, we would get health care like the rest of the world. When we get sick or we want a checkup, we would go to our doctor, and all you do is give them your number, give them your card, and that's it. And then you go. There's no co-pays, co-insurance, in-network, out-of-network, deductible, pre-existing, whatever, not pre-existing conditions are covered now, thanks Obamacare, but Republicans are doing everything they can. They voted 60 times last time. 60 votes they had in the first maladministration to make sure that insurance companies could deny you for pre-existing conditions, like the bad old days. They want to go back to the bad old days. That's the entire Republican project, dragging us back to the dark ages. And I wish I was wrong. Prove me wrong. I've been saying that for years. The Republican project is to drag us back to the system the founders overthrew. Now people are seemingly agreeing with me. Look at this fucking guy. Doop-de-doo. Schlepplock. Look at him. Look at him. I wouldn't even visit the Capitol looking like that. Put on a fucking Wait a minute. What happened here? Hello? Put on pants, buddy. Put on some pants. So, how should it cost? Free? Also in January, as the Trump administration was dragging its heels about releasing the Epstein files, Fetterman messaged a staffer, Epstein was a nothing burger. Worst pics I've seen were from Clinton, LOL. How do they stand him? And you know, these texts were leaked by his staffers who hate him. How else would they have been leaked? They hate his guts because he sucks. They're Democrats. He is a turncoat. He ran as a progressive, just like Kristen Sinema, and now he's whatever this is. He's a maggot. He's a bleh. Then, after federal agents repeatedly shot Preddy in the back during anti-ICE protests, Fetterman complained that Democrats shouldn't be taking his side because they had objected, listen to this, when Kyle Rittenhouse brought a gun to a protest. He did a little bit more than that. He didn't just bring a gun to a protest. He brought a fucking assault weapon to a neighborhood that he had no business being in to start trouble. And then he shot people. He shot people. People there thought they were in an active shooter situation. That's what happened. And the reason he got off was because he had some maggot judge that put his thumb on the scale, and we saw it coming a mile away. Disgusting. Unlike Preddy, though, Rittenhouse actually fired his gun. Exactly, like I said, he shot 3 men, 2 fatally, during civil unrest. He went there to cause trouble. Alex Preddy was there bearing witness. Jesus Christ. Rittenhouse was charged with 2 counts of homicide. Fuck him all. Yeah, aren't you sick of maggots, fascists, Republicans getting away with their crimes? I really am. They get away with it all the time. This is right out of the Nazi playbook. Must have been so terrifying and frustrating for them, for the people of Weimar Republic, watching the Nazis seize power, get power over 10 years, and watching one outrage after the next, with them getting let off the hook, like we're watching now. Maggots getting let off the hook for murder. I don't mean to yell, but Jesus Christ, are you kidding me? Is this the end of the Progressive Voices part of the show? No way. Guys, thank you for hanging out. The show's not over. We have more show, youtube.com/c4channel/Tarabuster. It's just we lose our Progressive Voices audience at this time. We will win. Become a patron, patreon.com/TaraDevlin. Check out Charlie's APS Radio and APS Radio News. Download the little appy poo. Listen to classic rock and oldies all day long. Thank you, Charlie, for all you do to keep the show going and growing, and for your help of the community cats. We're on the right side of history, decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. We stick together, we win. All right, back to the show. Back to the really big show. You know what else? I have a couple other things. What else is on my list here? Shall we go? I mean, there's a few things. I wanted to play. Maybe we could play this. As much as we can stand it. Where is it? There's a couple of things. What do you want? Maybe I should take a vote. Nah. That takes too much time. I want to play this, but you might not like it. That's what I'm afraid of. So look at Ray Ray and Boudica for a second. Cleanse your palate. Look how cute they are. Aw, right? It's American Gothic cat. And then this, we're not going to play the whole thing, but this was we'll play some clips from it. And I just want to show you what a horrible dirtbag Trader Trump is. Let's close this for the distraction factor. Let's make this larger. And so this was a documentary that came out in the 80s? Let me see. Trump documentary. 1 2 3 1 2. How's the audio sounding? It's okay, right? I feel like I'm talking low. So, okay, this came out in the 80s. Oh, no. 1991 documentary. Trump, What's the Deal? It was produced in the late 80s and then buried for years because Trader Trump had his lawyers litigating against it. He participated in it, and then I guess he didn't like the framing because he's a con man. So he went after the people who produced it, and they suppressed it. According to the producers, Trump, the legal threats scared it off TV. It was supposed to play on TV. It never aired. And it only had a couple of small screenings at the time. The filmmakers, I can't talk, filmmakers eventually put the full documentary online once Trader Trump became a national figure. And I encourage everyone to watch it. I mean, I don't know. We'll just watch a couple of clips. Because it proves that he's always been a con artist. That's why he tried to suppress it. He doesn't look like a successful businessman. In this documentary, it shows what a bullshit artist he is, what a fraud. But I guess he didn't think that the filmmakers were going to present it like that. It's not about presenting it. They were filming him, and this is what happened. So they saw what a dirtbag he was. They saw the lies. They saw him formulating the bullshit. They saw the hype and compared to the reality. And he's a carnival barker.
He's been too busy trying to save himself. It's so different now from his heyday, when he only had to want something to get it.
All right, let's just...
As a camera turned in his direction.
Boy, there's a lot of coverage tonight.
Ugh.
He was the best-known businessman in America. Compared to Lee Iacocca, he was Schwarzenegger. He was Stallone.
Ugh.
Maybe he was even Elvis.
Look how I'm making him a star. Look at this.
He gets more headlines for what he doesn't do than what he does, because he's news just by showing up.
Here he is at a charity event. It's at the Plaza Hotel, then his newest toy. His wife, Ivana, had just had some very appealing cosmetic surgery. Don Johnson and Melanie Griffith were along for the ride. Not surprisingly, the press forgot all about the charity.
All right.
It was a time when celebrities dominated the news.
I don't know about this
one. Press agents,
beyond
New York, he's Donald Trump.
Fuck that.
They had no protective equipment, all the OSHA requirements.
Here we go. Some of the...
To the Sistine Chapel. Ross McTaggart was the second designer brought in to manage this remarkable apartment.
I was once in Christie's Furniture, and we were looking at some pieces there. and he focused on some Louis XVI pieces. Superb, I mean, incredible quality. But he didn't understand the price. They were estimated to be at $80,000 to $120,000 sale, which wasn't bad, really. You know, for 200-year-old furniture, that's superb quality. And Blaine Trump, who works at Christie's, happened to be there, his sister-in-law. And he said, well, why is this furniture going to be so expensive? You know, just because it's old? And she said, well, no, it's the quality. It's incredible. It's got a history. And he turned to me and he said, well, my stuff is better than this that I'm having made. I said, well, actually, no, I have a little bit of problem with the furniture that's been selected. It's not this kind of quality. He said, well, no, it's going to be. He said, it's cost a lot of money. It's going to be better than this. And we started battling, and he said, it's going to be better. He just insisted. And then Blaine sort of shook her head. He looked at her and he said, I can get better than this, can't I? And she shook her head and said, Donald, you're just never going to understand, are you?
Because he's a
Workmen
baboon.
pounded away on Trump's apartment for 3 years.
You get it? He's a baboon.
Downstairs neighbors stopped making her monthly payments. Lawsuits flew in both directions.
I wanted to move in here because I thought it was going to be a great building with fantastic views and also a bigger apartment than what I used to have. However, I never expected to have all these run-ins with my neighbor, who is Donald Trump, who lives above me. And since I moved in, he has done nothing else but construction.
The building of
All
Trump
right,
Tower.
all right. We don't need to watch the rest of it. Here's something that our good friend Ellie Leonard posted that she found. See, this is what Trump does. Trump evicts stroke victim, 74. I mean, who voted for this thing? Blue-collar billionaire, we had to hear. How he's fighting for you, the forgotten man and woman. Who does this? Who would evict a 74-year-old stroke victim? So the article reads, for more than 30 years, Mary Fillon, widowed, age 74, and half paralyzed from a stroke, has lived in apartment 6B at 14316 Barclay Avenue in Flushing, Queens. Last Friday afternoon, she answered the incessant, I can't read, doorbell, only to be pushed aside by the henchman of the city marshal, Norman Katz, who proceeded to cart her belongings out to an idling truck. Taped to her door was an eviction notice from her landlord's The Trump Organization. They took Fillon's sofa, her chairs, TV, jewelry, dishes, silverware, leaving nothing but a hamper for her to sit on. The marshals and the police tried to convince her to leave, but she refused to go until the neighbor, Bob Hennessy, convinced her to stay in his apartment until she could get help. What a dirtbag. This is what I've been telling you. We were talking about this before. He would buy into buildings and harass the rent-controlled, the rent-stabilized tenants. People like this woman who can't fight back, who don't have the means to fight back, who are completely vulnerable. She was distraught, said Hennessy, and by Monday afternoon, he was still unable to ascertain where her belongings had been taken. Thanks to her doctor and the Human Resources Administration, Mary Fillon is resting in a bed at Parsons Hospital. They rang the bell, recalls Fillon, and I was still in bed. I don't get up much unless I have to. They rang and rang and rang. When I got to the door, they pushed it open and walked in. These three big, fat men. They went right to the kitchen and started pulling out the drawers, turning them upside down into one of those big cartons. They said they'd come to put me on the street because I owed 4 months' rent. I don't owe back rent. The last thing I got from Trump was a bill for $10.20 about 2 weeks ago. And I sent that. They just want me out because they can get twice as much rent. Mary Fillon currently pays $200 a month for her apartment. Her income from Social Security and a telephone company pension is under $500 a month. The Trump Organization is one of the biggest landlords in the city, a dynasty passed from Father Fred to Donald. Like most dynasties, it has flourished through the exercise of power. In earlier times, most through the Brooklyn Democratic machine, now through Donald's liaisons with the governor, and blah, 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 blah. Trump paid more than $800,000 for brokering the convention center deal. He was used to political clout, blah, blah, blah. Trumps don't get involved in any of that. The spokesman said, blah, blah, blah. Trump, blah, blah, blah. Eviction, eviction. There was no answer. How does Donald Trump feel? I would say he has no feelings. And we're all paying the price for it right now. And reading something like that, I remember when he was running for office, there were contractors, working people that had to deal with Trump. They were coming out of the woodwork saying, don't vote for this guy. He's a scam artist. He's full of shit. He doesn't give a shit about working people. And we're living proof. He doesn't pay his bills. He's a liar. He's a con man. And people voted for him anyway. We could have had, when I think about all of the forks in the road, we could have had a competent female. But this country is just too fucked up, I guess, for that. All right. Here's another thing that I'm completely baffled by. And maybe play a couple of clips, because I haven't even seen it. Candace Owens interviewed Hunter Biden. Did you see that? Candace Owens, what? Hunter Biden sat down, this is from Daily Kos. Hunter Biden sat down for a strange interview Thursday with right-wing podcaster and conspiracy theorist Candace Owens. What? I mean, you know what I think is happening here? Candace Owens, like Tucker Carlson and many in the MAGA-ville, they see the writing on the wall that Trader Trump is unpopular, that he will be stepping off this mortal coil eventually, but before that time comes, legally and peacefully, he will make sure that he leaves nothing but ruin and wreckage in his wake. And I don't think there's any coming back from what we're witnessing now. This is not going to improve. What we're witnessing, the gas prices, the chaos, the grifting, the corruption, the ballroom, the slush fund, insurrectionist reparations fund, and the stock trades, the crypto, the whatever, various scams, the Bibles, the watches, the NFTs, the bullshit, the tweeting, the lies. I don't know if you saw too. He just posted there was some picture of him with Greenland. He's back on Greenland. Oh, the poor people of Greenland. Yeah, here it is. The poor people of Earth. Look at this. Oh, what happened here? Look at this shit. This piece of dirt. Posted. Hello, Greenland. You dirtbag. You filthy fascist dirtbag. Hello, Greenland. By the time this baboon has left office, America's name will be mud. It already is. How can people trust us again? So this is what's going on with Candace Owens and the certain people in the maggots. The maggot, I don't know, Ville. So they're trying to rehab their image.
The biggest reason that I wanted to come talk to you, beyond the fact, and this is not me blowing smoke, I think that regardless of whether I agree with you, that you're probably the most effective communicator I've ever heard.
Thank you.
Behind a microphone.
What about
and
me?
It's really driving me crazy at times. It's really making me mad. Yeah. But is it? I wanted to talk to you about those things and anything else you want to talk about.
Yeah.
You're the most effective communicator. What about me? What am I? Chopped liver? I'm only Tarabuster over here. The little Tarabuster show. Yeah, so he sat down with Candace Owens and literally called her the most effective communicator I've ever heard. So, I don't know. It kind of, I'm still wrapping my head around this, but this is another example of how the Democratic elites, and that's who Hunter Biden is, they legitimize these far-right propagandists who've spent years trying to destroy us, all of us, not just Hunter Biden. And then they act shocked. We shouldn't be shocked that fascism advances. Candace Owens did her part in that. I don't know how, and now she's being legitimized by the son of a former president.
We just realized that there is a devil's chessboard.
That's why I have, in terms of the left, like, you think I'm going to defend the DC elite of the left? They crushed my dad. They when they saw their chance, they did everything in their power to push him out. You know why? Because he was never part of that club. He was never part of the Epstein class. He lived in Delaware.
Everybody
you can think whatever you want about my dad.
These are just clips, of course, so we don't know the full context, but here we go. The left. Everybody's fucking beating up on the left all the time, and I'm sick of it. It's always the left. There is never a lesson that the Democrats in the halls of power, the elites, learn that doesn't include the beating up of the left, right? It's always the left. What the fuck are you talking about? The left. The left pushed your father out of the race? Was it the left, or it was the entire corporate media? It was the elites in the Democratic Party. It was the George Clooney's. He's not the left. I have you know. It's not the left. But we're always, I was just doing a video before the show, and it'll be up over the weekend on the Political Voices Network, and it was a clip of, what's his name, Chris Matthews on Morning Joe, talking about the Democratic Party's autopsy, and how Barney Frank was on his deathbed telling him that the worst thing we can do is make the Democrats go too far left. I mean, what does that mean anyway? Like everything else we were talking about tonight, give me a policy, right? We all have to figure it out. We all have to make it up in our minds. What do you mean? What's too far left? Oh, we should have trillionaires? Is that, we don't touch trillionaires. We need more billionaires, more income disparity, more upward immobility, less health care. What is too fucking far left? Nobody's talking about taking over the means of production. No one's talking about communism. We're not talking about everybody living in company houses or government houses where everybody gets the same. I knew somebody that lived in Eastern Europe, in the Eastern Germany. And she said when she got old enough to drive, she had to put her name on a list and wait for a car and wait for this and wait for an apartment and wait for... that's not what we're talking about. No one's talking about that, except the filthy fascists who pretend that the liberals are commies or whatever. They're the ones who are taking over private companies and shit like that and want everybody to be the same. But give me a break. I'm so tired of this shit. The left. Well, tell me, what are you talking about? George Clooney is the left now?
Everything in their power to push him out. You know why? Because he was never part of that club. He was never part of the Epstein class.
The left are not the Epstein class? Who the fuck are these? What the fuck is this shit? You see, we're all getting smeared. Who's in the Epstein files? Traitor Trump. His cabinet. Lutnick, right? They're in there. That's not the left. The Epstein class is not... Bill Clinton's in there, yeah. But he's not the left either. Hunter. Don't get me... come on, man. Aren't you glad that the conspiracy theorists and the son of the former president can get together and bash the left? With no receipts, of course. We just got to, once again, take their word for it.
Everybody that you can think whatever you want about my dad is that literally my dad never bought a stock or a bond because he made a commitment in 1972 when he was 30 years old after Watergate never to own a stock or a bond. And he did. My dad was the poorest person ever to enter the presidency and the poorest person, not poorest, he had money, he had written a book and he'd done well, but he had the least amount of wealth entering the presidency in modern years since 1900 than anybody. And when he was in the United States Senate, he was not only the poorest man in the Senate, not poor again, he made over $170,000 in average over the course of 45 years, but not just the Senate, but 535 members of Congress. He was never a part of that club. And that's what I wish, you knew. That's what I wish they knew. And I am not here in any...
It doesn't matter if she knew it or not. She's got her agenda. That's what we're witnessing, an evolution of that agenda. She's a cuckoo. And she'll say anything, and that's what she's done. She's made a career out of it. Spreading filthy fascist lies and conspiracy theories, and now she's trying to branch out. She's protecting her interests. She sees the shrinking maggot base. And it is shrinking, and it will only get worse. Yeah, it'll remain that 35%. But this monster has no broad appeal left. MAGA is a dying bowel movement. So she's got to adapt. All right, let's see what this one is.
And it's so glaringly not right. It's almost as if they're just saying,
F you.
F you.
They're not even
I don't
trying.
care.
We don't even get good psyops anymore. And that's what I keep saying. It's so disrespectful that we're not even getting good psyops anymore. We're supposed to believe he survived 4 assassination attempts, the first president that's ever survived 4 assassination attempts.
Yeah.
They lie to us about things, they make a big deal, and then they make it want to, it's going to go away. They're going to keep pretending and telling us that this is a totally normal grieving widow. Okay, no one's buying that. Like, something's just not right here. Everyone can see that. This is not how you would react to your husband being shot. And this sort of just, I'm fine, and like 2 weeks later, I fully accept the narrative. I have no interest in anything else. It's over. Let's close it. I forgive him. Let's move on. You're asking us to abandon our common sense and our humanity is what you're asking us to do. And that kind of seems like where we're at. Like, they're insisting on this. And I'm going, where is this going to go? Because we're not doing the thing they want us to do. Like, they're just constantly giving us slop all the time. I mean, even the recent White House Correspondents' Dinner, there was so much theater to it after. So much theater. And now it's kind of, okay, Secret Service maybe shot each other, and we're just going to kind of quietly move on. But Trump needs the ballroom. Like, that's a normal reaction. Hey, there's a shooting duck. Hey, well, we better get that ballroom.
And by the way, it's going to cost $1 billion now. And by the way, it's not from donors. And by the way, we're going to do it. Like, it's just the constant, like, talk about gaslighting.
This has been just this, and we're not even, are we even a year into Trump's second term?
We're a little over a year.
A little over a year in a second, and I don't think there's just been, I'm like, how are we going to deal with 4 years of just being gaslit every 5 seconds and told that, but MAGA, literally MAGA, is not MAGA anymore. And what was actually never Trump, which was actually pro-Hillary Clinton, if you think about it, that's now MAGA. It's literally people who have been against Trump the entire time who are lecturing us about this stuff, like the Mark Levins and the Ben Shapiros, and like, we're MAGA, and the Laura Loomers, like, we're MAGA now. Okay, great, then I'm not MAGA. Like, I've never agreed with these people. I am opposed to these people's ideas. I am opposed to unleashing an actual lunatic who has had to be Baker acted and put on Psych 5150 holds by her own parents who fear her. I'm opposed to that actually being unleashed upon the population.
Jesus. It's kind of bizarre. Well, not kind of, but to watch them both agree that Trader Trump's assassination attempts are staged. That's what they're agreeing on. Isn't it nice when supposed Democrats and supposed Republicans can get together around conspiracies? Wow. Well, Candace Owens is a conspiracy peddler. She's entirely anti-Semitic as well. She's pushed the narrative that a small ring of Jewish people in Hollywood, in Washington, is involved in something what she calls quite sinister. And I guess that's another example of filling in the blanks. They're just involved with something quite sinister. Take my word for it. Like the policies of Sundays and rainbows that John Fetterman says Democrats oppose, and everything else that we all have to pretend. We all just have to Rorschach test it. The Anti-Defamation League has flagged Candace Owens as a leading voice promoting anti-Semitism, anti-Zionist narratives framed as conspiratorial. Wasn't she also barred? Let me see. Candace Owens. She was good on Australia. I think it was Australia. Barred from entering Australia. Let's look this up. She was supposed to go there to speak, I believe. And then they canceled her visa. Yeah, Candace Owens has been barred from entering Australia because the government ruled that she failed the country's character test. And Australia's High Court later upheld that decision. So they went to court over it. This was recently. In 2024, the Australia Home Affairs Immigration Minister, Tony Burke, refused Owens a visa under the character requirements of the Migration Act. Burke found that there was a risk that she would incite discord in the Australian community. Hello! Someone save us! She would incite discord. Look what the fuck she did in America. And allowing, and that, here's what they said. Burke found that she was a risk, that she would incite discord in the Australian community, and that allowing her in was not in the Australian national interest. Oh, you lucky bastards. That's what a sane country does. A sane country, you know, I mean, if we were a sane country, Candace Owens, her platform wouldn't be broadcasting to millions of people. That's for sure. With this nonsense. I don't know, maybe I should start peddling conspiracy theories. Right? That's what I was talking to when Roxanne Kincaid and we filled in for Mike Malloy. And we were talking about that. How maggots, how Trump and Steve Bannon and the rest of the maggots, how they all scam the people they pretend to represent. Right? All the maggots, they're nothing but hosts from which to suck profit. That's what Trump looks at these dupes as. He's not trying to help them or improve their lives. And he's scamming from them. Like Steve Bannon, all of them. They all have a grift, and the targets are the people that listen to their shows and go to their rallies, go to Trader Trump's rallies. And I said, you know, it must, I would... If I were someone else, I would come up with a scam to separate maggots from their money. I would sell them some kind of Trumpanzee magic beans. Except it's the pesky morals that get in the way. So that's why I wouldn't sit here and peddle conspiracy theories or any other bullshit. Because to me, it's not worth it. It's not worth my soul. Not like Candace Owens. Some people don't have those pesky morals. Clearly. Because look at her career. She's the one that is after Brigitte Macron as born male. She promoted the conspiracy that the French First Lady, Brigitte Macron, was born male and stole another woman's identity. But I wonder what happened with that, with the court. They went to court. I know that Candace Owens was whining and bitching that she was going to be bankrupt by the Macrons. Let's see, sued her. I'm sure that's still going on. It's absolutely disgusting. So, let's see. Candace Owens, role and lawsuit. Candace Owens picked up this French conspiracy and amplified it to a global audience, insisting that Brigitte Macron is definitely a man. Fuck off. And was born Jean-Michel Throneau. A 22-count defamation suit filed in Delaware says that Owens used these false claims to promote her independent platform, gain notoriety, and make money. Of course, because that doesn't matter. Decency is never a factor. While ignoring all credible evidence disproving her claims. See, they tried to talk her off the ledge there, showing her, like, as if she fucking deserves their attention, right? But they sent her birth certificates and things like that. But it doesn't matter. You can't reason with the unreasonable, just like you can't shame the shameless. So after the Macrons asked her for a retraction and to get off their fucking back, Owens doubled down with an eight-part podcast titled "Becoming Brigitte," which further spread the lie. That's all you do. You see, that's the maggot way. I don't care what she says now. She's still a maggot, because a maggot is what a maggot does. And maggots, when they are confronted with the truth, what do? Do they apologize? Do they back down? Do they issue retractions? Hell no. They double down. They go for broke. They spread the lie further. They amplify it. All right, guys, that's the end of the show for now. We will win. Thank you, Charlie from APS Radio News. Thank you, patrons, patreon.com/Tara Devlin. Thank you, JD Christie, for your super chat. Thank you, Jim, for being a moderator. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out today. Hope you had an enjoyable day. Thank you, Jim, for being with the show all day, just like me. Right? I hope your ass doesn't hurt. Like, I got to get up more. That's what I got to do. I have to, like, set my alarm and get up every hour or so and stretch or something. Because it's not good sitting here. I hope everyone dropped dead in this chair. All right. If you can, become a patron at patreon.com/Tara Devlin. And check out Charlie's APS Radio and APS Radio News. Download the little app. Listen to classic rock and oldies all day. Subscribe to my Substack. And Errol says, Tara, don't forget my birthday is next week on the 29th. All right. I won't. Let me see. Where's my calendar? The 29th. Do we have a show that day? That's a Friday. All right. That is Friday. I will not forget. I put it on my calendar. How about this? Let's see. Hold on, I'm putting it down. Hey Siri, remind me on the 29th of May to wish Errol Thomas a happy birthday at...
Okay, I added wish Errol for next Friday.
I was trying to tell at what time. At 8:30, I was going to say. It wouldn't let me. Okay. But at least we have it down. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. All right, guys. There are more things we have to do and more conversations we have to have. Thank you for supporting the show. I hope you enjoy our Friday night get-together. And what else? What else? Subscribe to my Substack. That'll help. Yes. Add him on the Substack chat. Right. Why even say Jewish? The reality is the sick people are billionaires who are definitely not all Jewish. Exactly. There are quite the variation in the Epstein files. Yeah, it's just hate. And targeting minority group, targeting the traditionally targeted. But yeah, no, Candace Owens is a garbage person, a racist. I don't care if she's got darker pigment. Anti-Semite. It's not me saying that. That is the Anti-Defamation League saying that. And if the entire country of Australia, and also New Zealand, too, barred her, that means they went to court, and it was upheld by the higher court. So they went to court, and the case had to be proven in front of a court that Candace Owens incites discord and division and is not good for the public. She's a harm to the public. It's really true. And that's why, propaganda is poison. And that's all the Republicans have. That's why we're here, trying to break through the noise and offer an alternative. Hopefully, they'll find their way to our little Tarabuster community instead of falling into the hate and the division. Because we do have the right, you know, we're on the right side of history. We do have the capabilities, the emotional capabilities of functioning in a free democratic society. We're in this together. So much better to be together, unified, working, you know, together, leaving no one behind and all that shit. All right, I gotta go. I'm tired. And I still have things I need to do. Hello, Trucker John is in the chat. Trucker John. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. All right, my friends. Listen, listen, listen. Happy birthday. Whose birthday is it? Vanessa. Happy birthday, Vanessa. Got a lot of birthday kids in here today. Birthdays. Happy birthday, Vanessa. I'm sorry I missed it earlier when you posted it was your birthday. I would have given you a shout out sooner rather than later. And then I saw Errol saying that his birthday, a lot of birthdays. Very nice. Thank you for spending your birthday with Tarabuster, Vanessa. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Vanessa's is Monday. Okay, I'm just catching up. Well, happy birthday. Since I won't see you on Monday, we don't have a live show. Let me be the first to say happy birthday to you on a podcast. All right, guys, I gotta go. And Tara Jr.'s sleeping. Don't worry, he's all good. All right, my friends. Thank you for hanging out. Like I said, become a patron, patreon.com/TaraDevlin. If you haven't had a chance to subscribe to my Substack, please do. I'm going to... all right, I've told you this before. I think one of these days I'm going to be doing some live streams from Substack only. Things are gonna change in the Tarabuster world, because we got to start like making some money here so we can keep the lights on and keep doing the show. So, all right, but we have to, I don't know, shit's got to do. I got to do some things that the AI audit told me I need to do. But I think there's going to be some live streams on Substack only. But okay, whatevers. I'm babbling now. Thank you. Thank you for joining the Substack. Michelle 1. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Might be my first Memorial Day without rain here. Usually rains on a holiday, Commander Bond says. Well, happy Memorial Day, everyone. If I don't even know, is that even, why would you say happy Memorial Day? But it's not that happy, because we're remembering the people who fought, bled, and died for this country, and look what we're up against. It really gets me, honestly. It really gets me that when I think about the sacrifice that actual patriots made, and the disgrace that, like, you know, Trump wants to give insurrectionists a payday. People like George Santos and the pedos who stormed the Capitol, defecated and urinated in the halls. Forget it. It's such a disgrace. So, all right, guys, thank you for hanging out. My name is Tara Devlin. We will win. We're on the right side of history. Where's my graphic? We're on the right side of decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. Thank you for all you do to keep the show going and growing. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, Jim. And everyone else. Patrons, patreon.com/TaraDevlin. And I will see you very soon.